Boko Haram sponsors have links with Nigerian military. Nigerian Army General reveals. Oh boy. Of course, Nigerians have been suspecting this, that there is a relationship between the military and the terrorists in Nigeria, especially the Fulani bandits and all of them. But because since Buhari decided to be recruiting repentant Boko Haram into the military, we knew that the security architecture of the military have been compromised. Coupled the fact that the Northerners are just proliferating themselves in the military and the police in preparation for any outbreak of war or whatever. Okay, but again, let's dive into the details. Former General Officer Commanding 1 Mechanized Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Ali-Keffi, has revealed that terrorism financing, procurement, and movement of arms and ammunition for Boko Haram and other criminal elements have links to the military. General Ali-Keffi, who was forced out of the army for exposing his colleagues' involvement with terror financing, disclosed this in a letter to President Bola Tinubu, which also detailed his arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement. Can you imagine? The most worrisome aspect was that some of the individuals involved in terrorism financing of Boko Haram terrorists and who were also involved in procurement and movement of arms and ammunition for Boko Haram and other criminal organizations had links with the military, he said. Ali-Keffi, who headed the Operation Service-Wide OPS set up by former President Muhammadu Buhari to investigate those involved in terrorism financing, said his arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement followed the report of his team, which exposed the involvement of senior government officials, a top banker, and top military brass in terrorism financing. Ali-Keffi, in the letter published by this day, revealed that he headed the Presidential Investigative Task Force, instituted Board of Inquiries convened by Major General B.M. Monguno, retired, the former National Security Advisor, which sat in the office of the National Security Advisor for 5 weeks from early January to late February 2020. So I was the president of the Board of Investigative Team with members, secretary drawn from the Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Immigration Service, Department of State Security (DSS), Nigerian Intelligence Agency, Office of the National Security Advisor, and NFIU, as well as from the Board of Inquiry, which largely conducted its work as an investigative body tasked to investigate circumstances surrounding the illegal smuggling of petroleum products contained in 168 oil tankers into Benin Republic through a single smuggling route in Ilesha, Babara in Kwara State, he said. So he said the BOI went further to uncover 295 oil tankers that conveyed premium motor spirits and the major smugglers identified. The petition stated that the BOI made a significant discovery regarding the relationship between the smuggling racket, the terrorism besetting the Northeast, and the banditry kidnapping for ransom, which was at its formative stage in the Northwest and parts of North Central geopolitical zones. So this, he claimed, included the illegal mining of minerals in the Northwest and the North Central, and large-scale laundering of mostly funds meant for counterterrorism insurgency operations that were ongoing mostly in the northern region of the country. It's obvious that the north is the problem of this country now. A syndicate which had extensive network in the country, as well as being affiliated to international criminal network, was at the center of moving finances for terrorism, for other criminal activities, stated above, he said. So he added it was thus apparent that terrorism and insurgency in the Northeast, Northwest, and North Central were a criminal enterprise and were largely undertaken with profit rather than any ideology as the primary motive. Oh boy. Thus, we at the BOI arrived at the obvious conclusion that progress cannot be achieved except the financiers, collaborators, supporters, and the leadership of the terrorists and insurgents groups are identified and the network dismantled, he said. So the petitioner said recommendations on the findings were made and submitted to the presidency but were swept under the carpet because of the powerful individuals involved. The petition said the operation successfully infiltrated the leadership of the terror group in the Northeast, which culminated in their decimation, adding that key terrorism financiers were linked to the individuals convicted for terror financing in UAE. Okay. The petitioner noted that trouble started when the task force became victims of unfair attacks, including starvation of funding for its operations. This substantiates the argument that some powerful persons in and outside government, as well as from the military, were uncomfortable with the task force and specifically my humble self as commander, he said. So the petitioner said the death of Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, under whose tenure he served as GOC, dealt a blow to the task force as the new army chief. Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya removed him as GOC 1 Mechanized Division Kaduna. So he noted that subsequently, the presidency, the AGF, that's Attorney General Federation, became less helpful. So according to him, the entire episode culminated in his arrest and detention for 64 days in solitary confinement, where he slept on the floor with consequent health implications. So he lamented that the most painful part of his experience was that President Buhari, who approved his headship of the task force, did not come to his rescue. So begging President Tinubu for his intervention on the matter, he said, kindly cause an investigation into the circumstances surrounding arrest, detention, maltreatment, and compulsory retirement from the Nigerian army. So he also sought a review of his compulsory retirement from the army and that it should be commuted to voluntary retirement as well as approved compensation for the expenditure incurred by the task force in hiring vehicles and quarters. This should include compensation for the pains and injuries suffered while incarcerated and approval of personal security, he said. Oh boy. So this is exactly what is happening. So a military group or Nigerian military security agencies were tasked by Buhari to find out circumstances around terrorism in Nigeria, and this general was heading that task force. And when he dug out the refuse in terrorism in Nigeria, the entire system became uncomfortable. Both the military, the private sector, and the presidency became uncomfortable. So when they submitted the report, they swept it under the carpet. Rather than act on the report, they had to incarcerate him, arrested him, detained him for 64 days, and put him in an uncomfortable condition that was a threat to his health. And after that, they forced him out of the military without compensation, without benefit. Wow, that is bad. So that is exactly what is happening. Because just like Yusuf Babangida Buhari that said it, that any country that cannot fight terrorism in a given period must be an accomplice, must be a part of that terrorist organization. This is terribly very bad. Somebody is saying, General, run for your life. Oh, the British are responsible for all terrorism in Nigeria. Somebody has told him now, run for your life. You have dug out more than you can contain, but it's not your fault. It's because of the assignment you were given, but now they're no longer comfortable with the result or the outcome. Please, Tinubu, do or say something. Exactly. This is an open fact regarding banditry and terrorism in the north and the country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should look into this critically. I tell you, This guy has revealed a lot. Nigeria is in problem. Politicians are doing their damages, while security are doing more than damages to our dear country. Who and when to end all this wahala? This is serious. This general was part of the carcass that has been killing Nigeria through various means. He is not out of the business due to he is now out of the business due to reasons known to him and his accomplices. He should be rearrested, investigated, along with others named by him. These could, be clue to end terrorism in Nigeria. How do you know this general is part of them? I'm sure somebody is trying to put him on the line for bringing out the truth. Nigeria is a funny country. The more you look, the less you see. Abracadabra. Not be smart, When a country is a danger, when your friend is involved, one day one man will stand for what is right. Exactly. So General Ali-Keffi has spoken. I just hope that Tinubu will do something as fast as possible. So thank you for listening, and let's have a comment.